Anthropic published something this week that sounds like Frontier Lab inside baseball, but it is probably one of the clearest pictures of where work is going. The headline version is simple. Claude now writes more than 80% of the code merged into Anthropic's own codebase. Not suggested, not copied from a chat window, authored. The company says the typical engineer in the second quarter of 2026 merged 8 times as much code per day as they did in 2024. There is an obvious caveat, but the direction is hard to miss. The human role is shifting from typist to director. For introverts, that shift matters more than the productivity graph. A lot of software work is not actually software work. It is coordination work. It is explaining the bug to 3 people, waiting for the right reviewer, and asking why services exist. Claude is eating the part where you need another person's working memory before you can make progress. The engineer gives the goal, points it at context, reviews the result, and redirects when needed. Anthropic's own examples are wild in a very boring way, which is the best kind of wild. They say Claude shipped more than 800 fixes in April that reduced a class of API errors by a factor of 1,000. The engineer overseeing it estimated that a human would have taken 4 years to do the same cleanup. That is not a flashy demo. That is the pile of work everyone avoids because it is tedious and socially unrewarding. Nobody gets promoted for understanding old errors in services they do not own. But an agent can live in that swamp all day. The introvert translation is this: the most valuable AI workflows are not the ones that make you sound louder. They are the ones that let you stay with a problem longer. Claude can hold unfamiliar context and run checks. You still need judgment. Anthropic is explicit about that. Claude is much weaker at deciding which goals are worth pursuing. AI is getting very good at method. It is not done replacing taste. So the quiet builder's job becomes choosing better problems. If you work alone, this is good news, and a warning. Good news, because you can now take on experiments and prototypes. Warning, because if you only define yourself by typing the implementation, the machine is coming for your comfort zone. The leverage is not in writing every line. The leverage is in knowing what should exist and what good looks like, and knowing when the agent is confidently paving the road in the wrong direction. A practical workflow looks like this. First, give the agent a small but meaningful goal, not a vague wish. Second, hand it real context, files, logs, tests, and product constraints. Third, force verification into the loop. Tests, screenshots, whatever proves the work. Fourth, review like an editor. Fifth, write down the pattern. Repeatable workflows make solo people look overstaffed. The mistake is treating this as permission to stop understanding your own work. That is how codebases get haunted. The better move is to become the calm person with taste. Let Claude do the tedious passes. Let it search the old corners. Let it make the first version, the second version, and sometimes the weird third version. But keep the decision about direction. Keep the standards. Keep the final read. This is why the Anthropic post feels bigger. It shows AI becoming a coworker that does not need a meeting. It still needs a point of view that is almost perfectly shaped for introverts. You do not have to perform collaboration to get collaboration. You can work quietly and ask precisely. You can verify carefully and build more than your calendar should allow. The future of solo work is not one person doing everything. It is one person deciding what matters, while agents handle more of the method. That is a different kind of power. Quieter, less dramatic, much harder to compete with, because when you focus on taste over implementation, you are building things that only you can imagine. Claude is just the hand. You are still the mind. Use that leverage. Stop typing every line. Start merging better ideas. We will see you in the next one. Building with Claude means building faster, but it also means thinking harder. Don't get lost in the automation. Stay found in the design. Stay found in the intent. The future is quiet, productive, and deeply focused. We'll be here to document how it works. So go ahead, give it context, give it a goal, and keep your standards high. Because the world doesn't need more code. It needs more things that work well. Thanks for watching. Keep building, quietly. AI for introverts. Thanks for building with us.